1982, the first ever Rubik's Cube World Championships were held in Budapest, Hungary. Since then, more than 4 decades later, speedcubing has skyrocketed in popularity. And just like for any sport, there are champions, but one champion stands above all. Today, we will dive deep into the story of the most successful competitive speedcuber in history, considered by many as the GOAT of the sport, Feliks Zemdegs. In June 2008, only a couple of months after he started cubing, he posted his first YouTube video showcasing his rapid progress in speedcubing for a 12-year-old in 2008, with a 20-second average. Still in June, and a couple of days after his very first YouTube video, a young Feliks posted a video of an 18.46 average on YouTube. However, only 5 hours and 11 minutes later, he would confess on a speedcubing forum that he had faked the solves of this 18-second average, and would delete the YouTube video soon after. A rather interesting start for a soon-to-become great speedcuber. His legitimate times kept improving more and more, and just under a year later, he was averaging under 15 consistently. Not even a year into speedcubing, and Feliks was already very close to the world records set by the best speedcuber at the time, the legendary Yu Nakajima. In 2009, he broke the oceanic record for 3x3 single on average at his first competition, with a 10.05 single and a 12.55 average, in New Zealand. This was just the beginning, because in fact, at this competition, he broke 10 different oceanic records, both in single and average, in events such as 2x2 all the way to 5x5, 3x3 one-handed, blindfolded, pyraminx, and square one. It is crazy to think that all these records were broken by young Feliks at his first ever WCA competition, but he wanted more. A world record. Being the fastest in the whole world at solving a Rubik's Cube, he trained hard for half a year and waited for an official WCA competition to take place in his hometown of Melbourne. Still publishing solves on YouTube, the whole cubing community could see his incredible progress as he was slowly nearing the sub 10-second mark for 3x3. His first world records were in the 4x4 event and the 3x3 event, both broken on the 30th of January 2010 at the Melbourne Summer Open 2010. But this wasn't the end, because at this competition, he also broke 12 oceanic records and 1 national record in other events, compared to 2009 where he only had 1 competition. This year, in the span of 5 months, he was able to compete in 5 different competitions, and the amount of records a young Feliks would be able to break in this small period is insane. Finally, on the 13th of November 2010, he broke the world record single for 3x3 twice in 3 rounds. He ended up breaking 5 world records that day. At this point, it was very clear that nobody could even come close to the level that young Feliks had reached. Moreover, after this incredible year, Feliks announced that he would be competing in the 2011 World Championships in Bangkok. It was an opportunity for Feliks to win his first ever World Championship title. Before this crucial competition, Feliks broke the world record single again 5 times in only 3 competitions, lowering it to an incredible 5.66 seconds. Everyone knew that he was the favourite. During these World Championships in Bangkok, he won the 2x2, 4x4, 5x5 and 6x6 events. As expected in the process, broke several world records. Finally, there came the moment everyone was waiting for, the 3x3 finals. Knowing that he had won every single round of 3x3 up to this point, the final should have been light work for a young Feliks. But then, he came third. His third place at the World Championships for a young Feliks was a massive learning point. He wasn't perfect. On his day, he could be beaten. Less than a year later, he dropped his own 3x3 average to 7.53 seconds to break the world record again. However, soon, many other top cubers would rise, such as Kevin Hayes, Mats Volk, Sebastian Weyer, and many people started to think that this was finally, maybe, the end of his absolute domination on the world of speedcubing. At the 2013 World Championships in Las Vegas, everyone was wondering if he would finally become the world champion like so many believed he deserved. Finally, after an incredible final, he did it. He became the world champion, due to a +2 by Mats Volk on his very last solve. However, in 2013, he did. Not only had Feliks secured his title as the world champion, but he had also become the first cuber to ever podium in 3x3 at 2 separate world championships. And this was only the beginning for him. At the end of the year, he managed to get a sub 7 average, a 6.54 second average, almost a full second faster than his previous record. It really showed what Feliks was improving again. Before this incredible 6.54 record, he had only dropped his world record average by 0.05 seconds in the last 3 years. This incredible world record of 6.54 for average was the longest 3x3 record standing since the creation of the WCA. It lasted for 963 days until someone broke it to 6.45 seconds, and this someone, again, was Feliks. In 2015, Feliks flew to South America for the 2015 World Championships, where he became the world champion for a second time. He became the first cuber to not only podium 3 times in 3x3 at 3 separate World Championships, but actually the first to win 2 separate World Championships, once again solidifying his position as one of the best cubers of all time. At Worlds 2015, he also won 2x2, 4x4, and 5x5, but something was missing: the 3x3 world record single, because Mats Valk had previously taken the 3x3 world record single with a 5.55 second solve just before the World Championships in Las Vegas 2013. But in June of 2015, something incredible happened to Feliks. Feliks Zemdegs, the best speedcuber in the world, should be expected to use the best cube in the world. However, the model Feliks was using at the time, a Moyu Oolong, had a major problem, a corner twisting problem, and this prevented him from breaking this 5.55 world record with a 5.33 solve. After this incident, Feliks would look to collaborate with a new cube brand, even though Moyu continued to use him on cube boxes even though he was an unofficial sponsor. After some searching, Feliks would stumble upon a new brand of Rubik's Cubes, a new, young, upcoming brand of Rubik's Cubes. He stumbled onto GAN Cubes. In 2016, he announced an official sponsorship with GAN, allowing him to travel to competitions all over the world and break more and more world records. And this collaboration with GAN would be the beginning of a long and successful one. After the first ever sub-5 solve by Lucas Etter with a 4.90, in November 2016 in Indonesia, his #1 rival Mats Valk had a competition where, in the semi-final, Mats took the world record again with an incredible 4.74 second solve. This instantly became an iconic solve, 3 years after his own world record single, and in the process beating Feliks once again. However, in December 2016, at a competition in Melbourne, Feliks' hometown, Mats Valk was actually invited, and they faced off in the head-to-head final. However, this 3x3 final would become one, if not the most legendary face-off in cubing history. Feliks, in front of Mats Valk's very own eyes, beat his world record single on the last solve of the competition by only 0.01 of a second. This moment once again proved just how incredible and clutch Feliks Zemdegs was, and that he truly was the GOAT of speedcubing. In 2017, he held every world record single on average for every N/N event except for 2x2. Despite the young generation of cubers quickly rising up, Feliks held on to the 3x3 world record average for 7 years. Despite this apparent dominance, a young new cuber was rising, Max Park, a cuber that had previously shocked the entire cubing community, as in April 2017, he broke Feliks' 6.45 average with a 6.39 average. Feliks held the 3x3 world record average for 7 years, and it was the first time in 7 years that someone other than Feliks had beaten the 3x3 world record average. All of this happened in 2017, only a couple of months before the World Championships in Paris. And this World Championship would once again prove that a new generation was rising, as Max Spark ended up winning the competition and becoming the new Rubik's Cube World Champion at the age of only 15. Whilst Feliks struggled to make the podium and ended up 4th. However, to prepare for the 2017 World Championships, Feliks Zemdegs had went on a South American tour where he competed in around 10 competitions, and he came back with an incredible record, the first ever sub-6 3x3 average with a 5.97 3x3 average, which broke a barrier which many thought impossible, and this was also his 100th world record broken since the beginning of his cubing career. But unfortunately, this incredible preparation was not enough, and despite a title in 5x5, Max Spark won the title. Even though at this point Feliks was already considered the GOAT of speedcubing, the world of speedcubing was about to change, and not for the better for Feliks. In 2018, Max started to take Feliks' 5x5 world records in single and average. This was incredible, as 5x5 was long considered one of Feliks' strongest events, and slowly Max Spark would also start to beat the 4x4, 5x5 and other big cube records. In just a single year, Max Spark had started to change the whole dynamic established by Feliks in the last 10 years. However, Feliks continued to battle on 3x3, and 2018 was a pretty good year in that respect. He broke the world record single for 3x3 twice, lowering it to 4.22 seconds, while conserving the world record average. But Feliks went all in 2019. He decided to put all his practice effort in 3x3. He broke the sub-6 barrier a second time, while at the same time further distancing himself from Max Park, which still hadn't accomplished any sub-6 averages. And in November 2019, he broke his last world record average for 3x3 with an incredible counting sub-5 and an iconic 5.53 average, which to this day remains his PR. And this incredible average was only broken 3 years later in 2021, as Wei Hangzhou from China beat Feliks' last standing record with a 5.48 3x3 average. From 2018 onwards, the transition period was clear. Other cubers rose up like Timon Kolashinsky, Max Park, and now Yiheng Wang to run the show on the speedcubing scene. Nowadays, Feliks still competes in official competitions and still breaks oceanic records from time to time. He even participated at the latest World Championships in Incheon, South Korea, where unfortunately he wasn't even able to make it to the semi-final, the top 80 competitors in 3x3. In the end, Feliks broke 121 world records, broke multiple barriers that were thought impossible by most of the speedcubing community, won the World Championships twice, and competed multiple times and podiumed in so many events and so many international competitions. And this is why Feliks Zemdegs is considered the GOAT of speedcubing. This was Total Speedcubing Productions. Take care and bye.